Number 28, the Miami Dolphins go with their defensive tackle. I've been telling everybody all along. I live in Florida. We talk a lot of football. I said the Dolphins are going to start at the football and they're going to work their way back on defense. That's going to be their draft model. Sure enough, with their first pick, they take a defensive tackle, Jared Odrick from Penn State. He's a guy who's going to come in and fight for the nose tackle position. He can play over the ball. He's a space eater. He's strong. He can hold the point of attack. He's also athletic enough if he wants to kick out to a 5 technique and play that defensive end in a 3-4, he can do it. So I love the pick. The Dolphins, they got some value by moving back and still getting a guy that's going to come in and help.
Yeah, I think he's a perfect fit for the 3-4 defense that they run. I don't know if he's going to be a star right away, but he's going to fit in really nicely. You couldn't go wrong. They had to build from the inside out on this pick. It's a great pick.
At number 29, the New York Football Jets get Kyle Wilson from Boise State, a guy that some people had ranked the highest corner in the draft, and I think the Jets saw him sitting there at 29 and said, hey, this is great value. We got a guy that we can groom behind Antonio Cromartie and obviously Darrelle Revis, and maybe in a couple years we got Darrelle Revis and Kyle Wilson. We may have the best starting corner tandem in the league. For the next couple years, down the road. So I think the Jets just looked at it like, our defense is just getting better and better and better, and we're just going to keep adding to it.
Yeah, a guy like Kyle Wilson, he's a feisty kind of guy. He makes plays, and he's a smart player. And when you're playing next to Revis and you're Cromartie and learning from two of the best guys, you can't get any better than that. He's going to groom this guy, and perhaps, he could step in and start maybe a year from now.
Right.
And then again, you have another young tandem in Revis and with this guy.
Yeah. So at number 30, the Detroit Lions jump back into the first round, made a trade, and went ahead and got Javad Best from California, the running back who is just an exceptional outside kind of scat back. He's fast, he's shifty, he's electric, really. I mean, he can make things happen. He's not a bell cow running back, meaning you're not going to give him the ball 30 to 35 times a game and just let him pound, but he's going to be really good on the 10 to 15 carries you do give him. And I think him and Kevin Smith is going to be a nice little inside-outside pop. You're going to give that offense has got some real nice young weapons. You got Stafford at quarterback, you got Pettigrew and Scheffler at tight end. You got a wide receiver of Calvin Johnson, who's a stud. You got 2 good running backs now. They got a lot of weapons in the offense. And they also got Sue and on the defensive side. So I think Detroit is really starting to put together some nice pieces to their puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at they got young at offense all of a sudden, and they have playmakers all around the field. Calvin Johnson, like you said, Kevin Smith. You had another 1-2 punch with Best, and then you have Pettigrew at tight end, and hey, there's some weapons.
Yeah,
Stafford can ball, and then you got to get a tackle somewhere. So,
well, I mean, they did take a first round tackle last year, so they do have some young offensive line now.
True.
31, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Jerry Hughes from TCU, outside linebacker, defensive end. Just kind of reminds you of a guy they already have there in Indianapolis, and that's Dwight Freeney. I remember talking to Leroy Glover not too long ago about guys that he saw in college that he thought would project the best in the NFL. And the name he told me was Jerry Hughes, TCU. He said, this kid is going to be special. His technique is solid. He knows what he's doing on the football field. And he really knows how to get after the quarterback. So this is a guy to watch. And he felt that he was going to be just spectacular. So we'll see if what the Colts do with them. And he's learning from a guy who's built just like him, Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, he fits into what the Colts try to do. He's going to learn from one of the best defensive ends. But he also can play, probably potentially move into linebacker as well. They could probably move him around. He's an athletic dude, so very nice pickup.
Yes, it was. The final pick of the first round tonight, we had the New Orleans Saints. Patrick Robinson from Florida State. They have picked up a cornerback. A guy who, kind of snuck into the first round. I didn't really see him in too many mock drafts. I mean, I know he's a good player, but, in the first round of the draft, you always seem to have tendencies. There's guys that have runs. Running backs tend to fall. Offensive tackles and defensive tackles tend to rise, and so do cornerbacks. In a league now that's predicated on the pass, you need guys that can cover. And the Saints don't have too many holes. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl, so they're a solid team. But they're adding some young talent into the secondary. They didn't sign Sharper back, so maybe they take one of their starting corners and move them to free safety, and they let Robinson come in and fight for a starting spot. Maybe they have a plan in place. We don't know. But
maybe move Malcolm Jenkins to safety.
Right, or something of that nature.
They gotta sign Sharper, man.
I think so too.
The guy's a baller.
I know. I agree. But who knows what he's asking for? I mean, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. He may want ridiculous amount of money, and the guy at that age, He
was even mentioned in the Jets, but he's like, boy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's it. That's the 2010 NFL first round picks, pick by pick. That's Gail Saunders. I'm Steve O'Reilly. Neither of us are Tim Tebow, but that's just the way it goes. Y'all have a great night, and we'll catch up with you over the weekend as the draft unfolds, and we'll give you the skinny on your teams 24/7.
Tim Tebow is a winner.